Welcome to the Orange Peel Podcast, where we peel back the covers on juicy hidden truths. We have a real juicy one for you in this episode, where we converse with Ty Lee, a single mother who is successfully navigating her way through motherhood, Christianity, and pursuing her professional dreams in the world of entertainment news. Ty caught our attention when we heard her on another podcast saying that as a mother, she is an advocate for her son, which is a beautiful pledge of fidelity to the holy calling of parenting. Ty is a Los Angeles-based journalist, photographer, and entrepreneur with a passion for writing and interviewing interesting people in the news. She is the creator and owner of an online publication called The Headline, and is known for delivering compelling stories that inspire, educate, inform, and stir the emotions. Ty knows how to navigate the Hollywood, music, and entertainment scenes to find the stories important to you and me. Ty earned a bachelor's in digital media production from the University of Central Missouri, and early in her education gained experience working with television organizations as an on-camera talent and creating voiceovers for commercials. She began her career as an intern at KTLA 5 and Blueprint Collective Inc., and later began working as a journalist, host, production assistant, and content coordinator for entities such as NewsForUsOnline.com, Black Tree TV, KJLH Radio, and NBC Universal. Not only does Ty own an online publication, but she also works as an executive assistant for the Jennifer Hudson Show. Ty has the distinction of successfully managing all these interests while raising her son Xander as a loving single mom. She has participated in interviews with such famous personalities as boxer Sugar Ray Leonard, Dr. Mae Jemison, first black woman in space, and Ava DuVernay, director of the movie Selma. Be sure to view Ty's news publication at www.thaheadline.com. Now stick around and get a taste of the juicy truths we are about to uncover. Okay, Ty, I'm Avery Cloud, and this is the Orange Peel Podcast, and we welcome you to spend time with us today. In the Orange Peel, we always claim that we work hard to peel back the covers on juicy hidden truths. So we look forward to seeing what truths we peel back with you today. So congratulations to you on a successful career, being a successful mom. You're doing so much. The world needs more people like you. And so I'm very, very proud of what you are doing, and very honored that you spend this time with us. So let's just get started. Let's jump right into the headline. I really enjoy looking at your site and getting a feel for the news you provide. And if I might, I'll start just by reading what you have there as your mission. It says that your mission is to bring our audience fresh, uplifting, accurate, and the latest news. And I love that THA for that's so creative.
Thank you.
Says we deliver community-based entertainment news and everything in between. So if you would expand on that, tell us what you are trying to accomplish and what you are doing with the headline.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you thinking of little old me and having me on the Orange Peel. I was always curious about the name, and I actually love the meaning behind it. So thank you for having me. The headline, I was founded in 2016, and it was ultimately a vision and a birth from me being tired of not having opportunities that I desired. I was working a 9-to-5 job that I did not like. I did have the opportunity to work for an online publication that was throwing me stories that I was not interested in covering and was paying me nickels to do it. So I was on the phone with my mom, headed home from work one day, and I was venting to her, and I was telling her, like, I really just want to do something I'm interested in. I want to cover entertainment news. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's like God spoke to me within that moment and just said the name, The Headline, to me. And I don't ask anybody to do this. I don't condone it, but in the middle of driving home, I got on Google and I searched the domain name with the hopes that no one has purchased that name. And Lord and behold, no one did. So I bought the name in traffic. And the headline is basically meant to cover entertainment news, feel good news, and highlighting unsung heroes, people that you would not hear about on a day-to-day basis that you wouldn't see on mainstream media, your neighborhood coffee store owner, or even a red carpet event talking to your favorite celebrities. So it allows me that avenue to just express myself. I love to write. I love to interview people. And yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And you talked about looking at unsung heroes. I know that in one of your articles, you covered the Black Excellence Brunch.
Yes.
And in that brunch, they dealt with talent rather, behind the scenes. So
Hmm.
clearly you're being true to your mission.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about your view of the talent behind the scenes and the unsung heroes that we need to sing more about.
I feel like without the unsung heroes and without the talent behind the scenes, there is no talent. They literally help these people live their dreams. Like without them, there is no dream that's possible. Like they're doing their makeup, they're doing the dirty work, the grunt work, the PR work, whatever you want to call it. They're the ones that's pushing that vision along. And also, just like I mentioned before, someone that has like a boutique store that you wouldn't hear of on a regular or anything of that nature, you're allowing access to them from our viewers and our readers and allow people to learn more about this individual. If they're an upcoming artist, a singer, like one of the artists I interviewed, her name is Bree Jolie. A lot of people don't know who she is, but it's allowing people to learn more about her music and her background and her story and being able to find access to stream her content. So that's what I think of when I think of unsung heroes, the ones that you don't see 24/7, like the Beyoncés and the Jay-Z's. These are the people that are really putting in that same amount of work that deserves that same shine.
I really like that. And I'll tell you something else I like. I like the fact that you do movie reviews because,
Oh,
as a Christian, it's getting hard to find movies that are family oriented and certainly that are true to Christian values.
yes,
And so
yes.
what you do is a help, I think, to families. So share with me how you go about doing a movie review.
Score and I give the
Yeah,
Rotten Tomatoes
yeah.
comparison. Ultimately, especially for example, like today, I am at something called Black on the Block, and it's sponsored by the new Transformers film that is now out in theaters. And they instantly hit me up about the event and told me that it's family oriented. Make sure you bring your family. It's something that the kids can enjoy and young teens can enjoy. So if there's ever an opportunity to cover something like this that I can allow my son to attend, I'm all for it. And I just love a good movie as a Christian woman. I love things that aren't too risque, I guess you would say. So anything that's like a comedy or an action or anything of that nature, I love writing about it. I love giving honest feedback. Sometimes the reviews aren't all that great in the sense of I'm gonna be completely honest, do not see this movie. And other times I'm like, please run to the theaters. It's a must see. It's a feel good story that you have to see.
All right. Well, I have to know, have you given a review that made somebody angry that got back to you?
Um, Recently, the one interview that I actually had an intern cover was the Color Purple film. A lot of people had the opportunity to read her review that she and I both had the opportunity of seeing together, and we both had the same opinion of it not being the greatest. And the reason being is because I think we are so used to that origin story and knowing the true characters behind it and the little quirkiness that they had and the lines that they would say that weren't included in the new Color Purple. And I won't say it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't like something that you would expect from the film. I mean, the music was okay, but that's a prime example of, some people are like, what do you mean? It had Fantasia and it had Taraji, and it's just like, yeah, it did, but
All right. So have you ever given a movie 10 out of 10?
I believe I have. I can't remember right now the top of my mind what movie, but I know that I'm pretty consistent with being like, oh, a 9. a 9.5. I don't really recall me like this is a 10 out of 10. And if I have, please remind me.
Well, that's what lets us know we can trust you because you don't just give tens away.
Mm-mm, no, no, no.
Let me share with you too that movies have been since my wife and I, since Greta and I have been married, movies have been the shared hobby of ours. We started our first date going to a drive-in movie. And of course, no one knows what a drive-in movie is anymore. But we've been married 50 years, so that was a long time ago. So we share your affection for movies and especially the good ones.
Yes.
So what's your favorite movie? I know that's hard.
Oh my goodness, my favorite movie.
What mine, I'm going to tell you what mine is while you think about it.
Go
So
ahead.
my favorite one is the one that we went to see on our first date. It's The Good, Bad, and the Ugly with Clint Eastwood.
Oh wow,
I said it's the love of Great Western.
that's a really good movie. I would say one of my favorite movies. I love a good bio doc type movie. So like Why Do Fools Fall in Love about Frankie Lyman played by Lawrence Tate is like one of my favorite movies, or the Dorothy Dandridge story acted by Halle Berry. These are two films that are old, like 90s, that I adored and I literally had on repeat as a little kid. Like the stories are a little dark because of like the type of artists that they were and the the trauma that they went through to become the namesakes that they were. I love Dorothy Dandridge. Her music was amazing. Frankie Lyman and the boys, they were great. So I love those movies.
I'm going to share with you my number two is Forrest Gump. And
That's a really good
I I like artsy movies with a message that's
movie.
woven throughout the movie. It starts with that message, and you see that message show up all through the movie, and then it
Yeah,
ends with the reinforcement of that message. That
yes.
was artfully done in Forrest Gump, and so much of life and the lessons of life were built into that movie.
Yes, that's so true. That was a really good movie. I enjoyed that. Lieutenant Dan and all that.
So, I have to ask, what's it like being as busy as you are being a mother?
Oh boy. It is a beautiful challenge.
I like that. A beautiful
It's a
challenge.
beautiful challenge because, of course, I want to teach my son that you have to go after the things that you desire. I never want to be the type of person that settles for, oh, as long as I'm making money and I'm doing this, like it doesn't matter. I really want to show him, like, if you really want something out of life, you got to go for it. And like times like today, I'm able to bring him to an event with me so he can see the seeds of my labor and opportunities to do a rooftop and see the Transformer characters move around and enjoy Black on the Block and seeing Black vendors provide free merchandise, or if you want to support those things, or an example of going to Disneyland and taking him with me. Like these are things that I truly am grateful for. As you may know, like I also work in the entertainment industry outside of my online publication for a talk show. So I work 10-hour days. I have an hour and a half commute to and from. So busy is an understatement. So I appreciate weekends. And even then, I might be covering an event like today.
And may we mention the name of the person's talk show?
Yes,
Okay,
you
so you're
may.
working for Jennifer Hudson, right?
Yes, yes, she is an amazing woman. Truly, what you see is what you get. She's a great person.
That's a great comment, because a lot of people uh, aren't that way. What you see is not necessarily what you get. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
great
yeah.
to hear. So tell me about your faith and how long you've been a Christian, and how does faith guide you in your personal life and in your professional life?
So I've been a Christian my entire life, but I was baptized at the age of 10, and that's when I developed my own relationship with God. I remember moments as a little kid being able to hear God more clearly and the do's and don'ts and the yes and no's of things. So I've always had faith in the forefront of everything that I do. Um, Personally, it takes me to the point where, like, for example, I am celibate and I've been celibate for about almost 4.5 years at this point. And the purpose of that is because of God. Like, I want to be a wife. I strive to have a husband. And I understood that in order to become one, I have to leave all the things behind and keep God in the forefront. And God is going to present me with, a man that I desire and to earn and love, that loves him. And professionally, when it comes to certain things, I kind of steer away from anything that's quote unquote demonic or not of him. Like working at the Jennifer Hudson show is a blessing because although it's not in lights and glimmer, who she is to the core is a Christian woman. Like, for example, when it comes down to these holiday episodes and they want to call it a spring episode, she said, no, we're going to call it Easter because God rose on the third day. And I'm just like, absolutely.
Oh,
So
that's great.
I really love that. And being a part of this talk show, when she talks about God, when we pray before an episode tapes or anything of that nature, it allows us to be exposed to him more. And, as a reminder, like on a day to day, every Thursday and every Saturday, I do Bible study with individuals that are in my age group. And it's just like a constant reminder to keep him first.
That's beautiful, Ty. How do you transfer your faith to your son?
How do I transfer my faith to my son? So we do church every Sunday. We listen to the gospel music. He loves to listen to C.T. Winans and the Kirk Franklins. He loves upbeat gospel. But I make sure that we pray every night. And I make sure that when we pray every night that he enunciates the prayer correctly. It's not, no, like really listen to what you're saying and make sure you really say the names of who you're praying for. Mommy, daddy, granny, grandpa, my family, my friends, my teachers, things of that nature. So I make sure that when he's, for example, afraid at nighttime and he wants to come in my room, I'm like, wait, there's something to be afraid of. God's here. Most importantly, like you don't have to worry about anything. God is watching over you. Mommy's here, but don't be afraid. So I make sure that he is aware of the name of God and who God is.
Well, I'll share with you that what you have just expressed is what we pursue at Pearland West Church of Christ. We launched a program called Think Orange, red meaning the parents, yellow meaning the church, and when you put them together, you get orange. So church and family have to work together to prepare the youth of today to be the Christians of tomorrow. And so what you're doing is you're living that out. So thanks so much for sharing that and for sticking to it. But I have to go back and touch on the fact that you said you're celibate. Most people say you're nuts, right?
Oh, absolutely. I get that all the time. And it kind of is something I bring up from the beginning when dating to kind of just knock out the ones that aren't there for the right intentions. So it's like, just so you know, like, we're not doing any of that.
Well, to give you some encouragement, I heard a great spot by a very popular psychologist or professor. I can't think of which he is, but Jordan Peterson. I guess everybody's heard of Jordan. And he said one of the smartest thing a woman can do is say no, because what she is doing is telling the man that may be her future husband is that she can be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And you increased your value threefold by saying no. And I don't think women of today know that. And I applaud you for getting that figured out.
Thank you. As the kids say nowadays, I'm standing on business. Big business.
I like that. All right. Well, I'm gonna ask you one that I have to ask, and that is, tell me about an interesting interview you've had with a Hollywood celeb that we would know.
One person, her name is LaToya Luckett. She's an original member of Destiny's Child, and she's also an artist outside of Destiny's Child. She's also an actress. And she, in high school, was one of my favorite artists. Every single morning, I would play one of her songs. And I guess my mom would know at the time, like, oh, she's going through a little boyfriend problem because playing this song every morning. And when I had the opportunity to interview her, I had to let her know how much I appreciate her music and how often I played her music throughout high school and things of that nature. And it was kind of like a girlfriend moment that I appreciated because she was like, what's his name, girl? What did he do? Tell me, what happened? And it was really awesome. So the times that I would see her outside of that moment, she remembered me and we would have like a hey girl type of experience. So people like her, I really appreciate. Another person was Morris Chestnut. He was amazing. I had the opportunity to interview him, and what made his interview so special is because I was so nervous. Like my hands are sweating. It was Morris Chestnut. Like, wow. And I think he had a sense of me being, nervous. And it was during a time where he had this show and it was based in like Miami and the set was in Miami. And I was just like, oh, it's so hot. He was like, yeah, that Miami heat. Like he kind of like broke the ice where it wasn't just like this girl is sweating, what's wrong with her? So it made it easier to talk to him and it was really nice. We had a great flowing conversation as well.
I can't think of anything more touching than someone who is way up there, if you will, in the public eye. And when you meet them, you find out they're just like you.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so rare to find people who have achieved great things who can just be a person.
Exactly.
So that's a great compliment. I hope he hears this podcast and
He will,
and gets that compliment you just gave him.
for sure.
Well, tell me about the most rewarding things about being a mother and the most difficult things about being a mother.
The most rewarding thing about being a mother is seeing the transformation day to day to day to day. Like every morning he wakes up, he's a whole different person, saying new words. And then the words that he was saying like a baby, he's now enunciating and saying it correctly. And just seeing how smart he is, like he's like looking at the words, like he'll see the word orange and say, oh, Range, and say orange. Or just like it's like wow. He knows all of his dinosaurs, he knows all of his sea animals, he knows so many things, and just the beauty behind the child's eyes and just trying to see things from his perspective makes life just feels refreshing because 2024 and post pandemic has been so heavy, and I feel like he's the greatest blessing out of the pandemic because he just made everything feel light. He makes holidays feel special again. Being able to celebrate Christmas, it just you can see the childlike view of everything. The hardest part about being a mother is being a single mother, primarily because like you already mentioned and said, I do have a hectic work schedule and work-life balance. And sometimes it is difficult having to depend on my mother to be that backbone that I need. However, she is that and then some, and I thank God for her. But it just becomes hard in those instances. And, he has his dad in his life, but he does not see him on a day-to-day basis. So it makes it challenging for me in that aspect.
Change tracks a little bit here. I want you to coach men.
Really?
So tell us what advice you have for men to be better men.
Mm. To be a better man is to always put God first, respect women, listen to women the first time. I feel like a lot of times men kind of belittle or kind of push down the idea of a woman and what she has to say. So I feel like having God in the forefront of everything that you do is essential for being the individual that you want to be and want to become. So that's like the biggest key of all. It's just keep God first and respect women.
That you know what? That's rare. So
It
so
is.
those are good ones. All right, so let's flip the script. Coach women. Tell women how to be better women.
Listen, keep God first yet again.
Okay.
And also be a woman of your word. Say what you're going to do and mean it. Stand on business, like I mentioned before. A lot of times I feel like women say something but don't follow through on what they say they're going to do. So be a godly woman and an honest woman is what I would say.
That was wonderful. Do you have a role model?
Do I have a role model? I would say my role model is my mom, primarily because of the type of woman that she is mentally, emotionally. She's very strong. One, she has been through a lot of things from childhood all the way through adulthood, and how she's able to just persevere and push through a lot of things and still make sure that I was a priority after God, of course. But even with her being a single mother, she made sure I did any and everything. I was in dance, I was in sports, I was always going to different camps and things of that nature. Like she never told me no in the sense of pushing for my greatness and who I wanted to be. So my mom is my role model because of just how she is with her family and how she loves people and how she makes sure that she does keep God first. And she too also was very much abstaining from sex and things of that nature after she was married, because one thing she told me is that she wanted to be an example. I don't want my child seeing me out here with different men and doing things. I want to set an example for my daughter to know that, hey, we're not doing that. So I think a lot of why I am the way that I am and who I am today is because of her.
Wonderful. I want to give you a compliment. You do something on your articles on your site that I just thought, I mean, this is a little thing, but God, it is so helpful. You put how long the read is, right beside the
Yeah.
title. 2-minute read, 4-minute read, 8-minute read. That's a
Hmm.
wonderful idea. It seems
Yeah.
to be in recognition of the fact that people are very busy, and so you give them an opportunity to decide if they have time to dig in or do they need
Yep.
to come back. How did you come up with that?
It was just one of the features that you could select on the Wix website. And that was one I felt like was super important for that exact reason that you said. Like, hey, I'm letting you know now, this is a quick read. Please give us the views. And if you have time, come back later.
All right. So you said you love to write.
I
Is there a
do.
book in the future?
Oh boy. You know, it's funny you say that. I have thought of it and I try to jot down certain points of my life that I feel are prominent and special. Maybe in the future, I may do like a tell all and a life story. Who knows?
Well, you have your first bio right here, so I hope you do it. You've lived an interesting life.
Thank you.
How
Thank
do you
you.
how do you keep your head on straight in the middle of all the glitz and glamour of Hollywood?
I'm just your everyday girl. You know, I'm
So
just
you
a
just stay
simple
you just stay
person.
grounded. You
I
just
stay grounded, I'm
yeah.
very humble. I don't, when people talk about, oh, you talk to this person and you've been here, and it's just like, yeah, I have, but I'm just Thai.
All right, but look, we're coming to the end of our conversation, and I'm sad because I've really had fun talking to you. But I want to give you a
Hey.
chance to share anything you would like to share with our viewers.
I really just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for even thinking of talking to little old me about my life, my journey, and the headline, and my mother, my son. And ultimately, if you have a goal or a dream, and if you want to accomplish something, all you have to do is just start. And you can talk about it all day, every day. All you got to do is take that first step, that first initiative. If you want to be a writer, put the pen to paper. If you want to be an artist, go ahead and get that paintbrush out. If you want to do music, start singing, record, do a podcast, but never just be the individual that talk about it, but actually be about it.
That's great advice. Well, I think with the advice you've given on this podcast, all of our listeners have certainly enjoyed it, and I'm sure they will like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh, awesome.
Ty, thank you so much, and I look forward to maybe getting back with you again because I have a feeling you're not going to stop here.
Oh
I have a
no, this
feeling
is
you
just
have.
the beginning.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And I
Mhm.
probably should ask what those ideas are for the future, be a corporate spy here and see where you plan to take the headline in the future. But we'll just wait
Just
and
stay
let you
tuned.
surprise it.
Yes, yes, for sure. Thank you
Okay.
so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time. Bye-bye.
Of course. Bye-bye.
Apple pie is all